Hello everybody, this is Chris Bird or Monkey Dude 1313, and this is a master set of Sword and Shield Shining Fates, including all 122 baby shinies featured in this set. However, what you can see on the left means that this is probably a little bit more than just the master set. So one of the main things about Shining Fates is that it features a ton of shiny Pokemon, and shiny Pokemon have been around all the way since Gen 2 back in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. So I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of a history of all shiny Pokemon in the TCG. And so in this binder, as you may recognize, it's our Charizard Binder. We don't just have one Charizard to pull out, which is the one for this set. We also have a ton of shiny Charizards to take a look at. So we'll be flipping through that when appropriate. Tons of shiny Charizards in there. And then over here you'll see that I've made a special selection of some of the shiny Pokemon from across the eras. So I thought it would be fun to look through that, and we can do all of this in one video. But wait, there's more. You may recall that Hidden Fates from Sun and Moon had baby shinies, and you may recall that Scarlet Violet Paldean Fates had a bunch of baby shinies. So we are going to be looking through all of those today in this video. So, big deal binder, obviously, very expensive stuff here. Charizard binder, very expensive stuff. 2 entire binders of baby shinies, not even relevant, or not even part of the master set of Hidden Fates, or Shining Fates, but that's okay. We'll have a great time with it. So, let me get this off to the side, and we can jump right in to Shining Fates. Alright, Shining Fates is a very, very tiny set. As you can tell when I pull this guy out, 72 cards there. And there's actually 73 because there's one secret rare, but we'll quickly get through those because we have so many shinies to look at today. So, just quickly looking through, some very neat stuff here. It features the starters from Sword Shield, features some Crobats and some more Picos. Generally nice art style on these, but unfortunately, we're kind of glossing over them because of the sheer volume that we need to get through today. This Eevee is adorable, by the way. I'll pull this out real quick. We got it's swimming underwater, and you can actually see its legs and how it's swimming. So that art is adorable. You still get to see all of Eevee, but it's also swimming. Nice. Okay, so grand reveal. That's this. This is the grand reveal for this set. Now, as much as I like full art trainers and full art Pokemon, I gotta say, this is a very small reveal for a set that has a billion shinies in it. So, 8 full art trainers, featuring one of my favorite trainers, Ball Guy. Absolutely love how dorky this guy is. And then we got Alchemy V full art and Alchemy V Max Rainbow. Just a little quick spin over of that guy. Very neat card, but what we're actually here for is the first of many reveals. Baby Shiny page number 1. So, I'm also going to be flipping through these decently quick, but I'd like to point out a few as we go. So, all of these Pokemon have shiny pictures. They're not just the normal Pokemon, they're the shiny variant of it. And since they don't take up the whole card, they don't have some fancy stuff here on the bottom, they're called baby shinies, because they are just normal Pokemon cards where they've replaced the picture box with a shiny version of the card. And you could find these in 3 different sets, like I mentioned before. Hidden Fates, Shining Fates, and Paldean Fates. So, if you have a set with Fates in it, probably going to have some baby shinies. But some of the shinies are really obvious, and some of the shinies aren't so obvious. And it will be fun to take a quick look at those. So, start flipping through. Suicune, looking sweet right there. Got a lot of nice water and fire types here. I'll take a look at this one specifically. Now, if this wasn't on a baby shiny card, could you tell if this was a shiny Snom or not? Probably not. Shiny Snom has a ever so slightly greener face and an ever so slightly pinker body, but it looks basically the same as normal Snom. On the other hand, there are a few Pokemon that are extremely different in their shiny forms. This Coughing, for example. Coughing is normally a dark purple, and in here he is a bright blue. Absolutely love the shiny coloring of Coughing, and I much prefer shinies that have a significant difference. Similarly, Galarian Zigzagoon is usually black and white, but now we got a like weird magenta red and white. Love it. All right, keeping on. We're getting near the end of the baby shinies in this set. And now we're into the full art shinies. So no longer baby shinies. These are now big boy shinies, adult shinies, if you will. You'll see that we have one missing. We're not actually missing it. This is a Charizard, and this is why, one of the reasons why we have the Charizard Binder out. So I'll come back to him, but let's just quickly look over some of these guys. Phalanx V. Phalanx recently got a Mega, so I'm really looking forward to the Mega of Phalanx in the TCG. And then Grimmsnarl, instead of being black-purple, he is now white with some gold, pink, and blue. Very cool. Shiny Pokemon are a really fun thing, and a lot of people love to hunt them. 2 shiny Dittos, blue Ditto, super cool. Otherwise, meanwhile, Dubwool, just switch which parts are black and which parts are white. Whatever. And then these guys at the end of the set, Eternatus V, gold and black, and then Eternatus V Max, also gold and black. I really like how these cards look, and they are very, very cheap. So if you would love to collect these for yourself, do it, man. If you have $5 in a dream, go for it. These black and white, these gold and black cards have a ton of versions of them, meaning 10 or 15 cards are similarly colored, and all of them are very, very affordable. So if you like how those ones look, go and collect them. Good call. We're not getting to the reverses for probably another 20 minutes. We'll see how long the recording takes, but we're going to finish off the reverses for the set that the video is about at the end of the video. But for now, let's go back here and let's find that Charizard. All right, so as you can see, I have my handy dandy French Dragonite First Ed Holo as a bookmark, and usually I only need to pull out one Charizard or flip to one page, but there are a lot of Charizards that are either from this set or shiny. So let us take a little meander. So I'm gonna skip all the pages that don't have relevant Charizards so I don't give away the entire thing, but we're gonna be giving away quite a bit of the binder today. So we go to this page first, and on this page we have Mirror Mint, wonderful Shining Charizard First Edition from Neo Destiny. Absolutely love it. So, Shining cards, I'm assuming, are shiny versions of the Pokemon. However, as you can tell with how the holo is laid out, they don't make it very obvious if this is supposed to be just kind of like a shiny version of Orange Charizard, or if this is supposed to be Black Charizard, but shiny. So, I am assuming that all of these shiny cards, including Charizard, are shiny Pokemon. Similarly, we have the unlimited version as well. Another very nice copy of that guy. So we will pull out the 2 shiny versions. Nice. Very good. Okay. Throw those back in here for now. And our handy dandy French Dragonite gets to be moved over to the side. Next bookmark, we have the Charizard Delta Star, where not only is it Delta, which is what gives it the type of dark instead of its original typing, but also they put the shiny one on there, because if you're going to make a dark type Charizard, why not make it the shiny, which is black? So you get to admire the wonderful shiny Charizard here. Moving right along, Sunflora number 1 has been retired. And next page, we have another secret rare Charizard here. And this is Charizard from Plasma Storm, number 136 out of 135. So, very obviously, he's shiny. And, fun fact, this card has a misprint on it, where it has a fighting type symbol there. So, interestingly, a majority of the cards printed from Plasma Storm did have this misprint on them. So, finding this Charizard without the misprint is actually more expensive, because it was only corrected nearer to the end of the print run. Beautiful card. Alright. Quickly moving along, we take a big jump here, and we get to the shiny version of the Burning Shadows Charizard. And this actually goes into one of the other binders that I'm going to show you in a little bit, but this Charizard is beautiful. Another wonderful shiny Charizard. Alright, next up, flip to the next Sunflora, and we see Champion's Path Charizard V. And this one is another beautiful one. This is the same art that came from the set, but they just shinied it. I shouldn't say from the set. We have a promo or some other version of this card. This one right here. It's literally right here. I don't know why I'm talking about it abstractly. It's still sealed, by the way, but this one is a promo, Sword Shield 50. Same art, just not shiny. So they put the shiny one in the set, and they made the promo not shiny. Neat, 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 neat. As you can tell, I'm going a little bit faster because I got a lot to get through today. And here is the reason we're in the shiny binder in the first place, or the Charizard binder, because this is the one directly from this set. Interestingly, all of the shiny full arts from this set are relatively affordable, except for this one, which is very, very expensive. And so instead of putting this back into the binder, we are going to immediately pull it out, and we will put it back into its original binder in a moment. All right, next up, skipping slightly ahead, one page, we see Radiant Charizard. This is from the Pokemon Go set. It's actually the first of 2 Radiant Charizards, and we will be going through a grand majority of the Radiant cards also in the big boy binder when we get to it a little bit later in the video. Radiant Charizard, very cool. All right, moving along, we have yet another Radiant Charizard here, and another picture, but same concept. We have the big crosshatch hollow texture pattern, and then we've got a shiny Charizard there in the middle. I believe there is also a printing of this one with the Celebrations logo on it. I'm not 100% on that, though. Cool. Another shiny Charizard. And lastly but not leastly, we go to this page here. We have this shiny Charizard from Paldean Fates. Beautiful, beautiful card. Very happy that we were able to pull this. Charizard's one of my favorites. And we have a promo of the same card in shiny form, but just normal full art rather than secret rare. Very cool. Okay, so before I put the Charizard binder away, since Phantasmal Flames releases this Friday, which is 4 days from now, I'd like to show off this English Mega Charizard EX from Phantasmal Flames. We pulled this today. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful 12th pack of our first box. Great. Okay, but for now, Charizard binder will be going to the side, and we can put in the Charizard VMAX into its rightful place next to a $4 Rillaboom and a $3 Centiskorch. As expected, the Charizard tax is alive and well. Awesome. So, we've gone through all the baby shinies in the set. We've gone through all the full art shinies. We've gone through the Charizards. What's next? Well, I'm going to tantalize you guys a little bit longer, so I'm not going to give you the shinings and stars yet. I am instead going to set that aside and pull out Hidden Fates. Hidden Fates is another set, like I mentioned before, that featured baby shinies. So, let's quickly skip to the baby shiny section, and I can get a little bit of information about those. So, bonus, you get to see the fancy stuff from this set as well. But something I really liked about this set is that these cards technically were both in the set and not in the set. And I'll give you an example. Pull out the Scyther here. Lovely art. But if you look down here, you can see SV1, which means that in this set, there is a subset called SV with 94 cards in it. And this is the first one. However, you'll also notice that there's a big A saying alternate for alternate art. And then there's the Celestial Storm logo there. So all of the cards in this shiny section are alternate art reprints of the cards from their original set. So if you want to Grandmaster a set, you'll need to make sure that you pull out these guys as well. So this one, Sun Moon Base. So if you want to Grandmaster a set of Sun Moon Base, you got to get this one, even though this one was printed quite a bit later after Sun Moon Base. All right, so Charmander, Charmeleon, love these. Something else to note is that the art is not just kind of static pose like you saw in the Shining Fates. These are all like quite unique and interesting arts. And I'll give an example of this Charmander. Charmander is not just kind of standing there, nice black outline static pose. They've put it as a gray outline, and this Charmander is quite a bit more active and characteristic. Characterized? What's the word? I don't know. It's kind of more, I don't know, but my mind is blanking, but you get the idea. So we can either just have standard sprite type art, well, not sprite, but standard like thick black outline cartoony art, or we can get this more to me, visually appealing, funky art. Next up, let's flip to the next page, and we get to see a little bit more of it. Our Voltorb, despite him being just a ball, they made him extra shiny, and they made him extra angry. So I actually really like this card for that reason, where it feels like they put the gloss back into Voltorb, where usually Voltorb is fairly matte in most of the artworks. But we'll keep going through. We'll be relatively quick because we're already at the 15-minute mark. Gible Garchomp. This is a fantastic line in these baby shinies. I love them. And then we'll see here that we actually have some full art shinies as well. And let me pull out the Leafeon here. Not only is the Leafeon gorgeous, but this is SV46 out of SV94. So, since we're out of the baby shinies already, and we're only about halfway through the shiny vault, that means we have a lot of full art shinies to look through. So, without further ado, we'll get into here. I forgot to pull out the Espeon GX. This is in my girlfriend's binder right now. She loves Espeon, so that's over in her binder. And this is the Charizard I showed you earlier that is now back in the Charizard binder. But otherwise, full art shinies. Let's pull out the Greninja here. Everyone loves a good Greninja. And this is the Forbidden Light Greninja. This card was decently playable at the time, if I recall. And on the next page, after this one, we will see one of the other bigger hitters from this, the Umbreon GX Shiny. Ooh, shiny Umbreon. And you can tell this is shiny because instead of it being yellow rings and a yellow ring on the forehead, these are all blue. So, some of the Pokemon, like this Scizor, are much more obviously shiny. As everyone knows, Scizor is actually red. So having a lime green Scizor. Very, very cool to me. Alright, and even though there's some more cool trainers and stuff here to finish off the shiny vault, I'm not showing you those. You're going to have to wait for the master set of this set, even though I have already shown off a lot of the goods from Hidden Fates. Alright, so let's swap back to Paldean Fates from Scarlet and Violet. Paldean Fates is known for its Bubble Mew, and it's known for Gardevoir and the Charizard I showed you earlier, the terrestrial Charizard. So let us again skip to the baby shiny section, and we will do a quick flip through the baby shinies here. I love that the grass Pokemon that they chose for this set not only have the green card like normal, but also the shiny versions of them are mostly green. So all 5 of these are green Pokemon on green card, even though it's supposed to be shiny. And these guys, pink, interesting, and Pineco gold. But let's go through a little bit quicker this time. Slowpoke, Slowbro, very cool cards here. Another baby shiny for both Charmander, Charmeleon. I know he gets overprinted. I don't care. I love it. Absolutely here for it. And we're back to the blue Voltorb and Electrodes. Really like those. Pikachu and Raichu, always a fan favorite. And who doesn't love this Shinx, right? He's so mischievous. He's very proud of himself for whatever scandal he has recently caused. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Abra and Kadabra. We finally got Kadabra back from Yuri Geller. I love it. Very, very nice. And let's just keep on flipping so the video doesn't take too terribly long. Plus, I'll be doing a master set of this set at some point as well. Don't you worry. Okay. So I think there's another 120-ish in this set as well, although they are not differently labeled. So remember I was saying the Shiny Vault? This one is not Shiny Vault. This is just number out of 91, because the set has 91 cards, and there's actually 200 some odd cards that you can pull, ignoring reverses, which is a whole nother story. So lots of cards here. Lots and lots of cards here. Snorlax, another fan favorite. This Scizor we bought twice because the first one had a pen mark on it somehow. Not really sure how that happened, but we wanted to make sure we got a good copy for the binder. And now we're done with the baby shinies, and we're into the full art silvery shinies. These ones are also extremely affordable if you like these types of cards. So I'll pull out the Mew because it's probably going to be one of the fan favorites here. Beautiful. Beautiful blue shiny Mew. We have a gold version of this. We have normal pink version of this. This specific art for Mew, either shiny or not shiny, has been printed so many times. And do I want to show you? Okay, fine. This is the Charizard that is in the Charizard binder that I showed you before. This, sadly, is the Bubble Mew. This will be a Wishlist Wednesday at some point. Maybe even this Wednesday. Gardevoir. Shiny Gardevoir from Paldean Fates. Very nice card. The third chasiest in the Paldean Fates set. Nice. Alright, so with all of that covered, we have seen 3 sets that heavily feature baby shinies. Shining Fates, Hidden Fates, and Paldean Fates. Lots and lots of fates going on here. But let me actually zoom out after I bring out this one, and we can get into the real meat and potatoes of shiny Pokemon. So as I mentioned, shiny Pokemon have been around since Gen 2, so Gold, Silver, Crystal. And so cards for those were printed very soon after those games came out, and of course they've been a fan favorite ever since, because one of the best endgame pastimes in a Pokemon main series game is to shiny hunt. You're either circling around Lumiose with a bicycle, auto-hatching a million eggs, you're running up and down the exact same road in front of the Pokemon breeder, grabbing new eggs and hatching them as you go, or you're soft resetting Articuno and Seafoam Island, because hell yeah, shiny legendaries. No way to farm those except soft resetting, where it just takes forever. And are you going to get it in 10 resets or 10,000 resets? You have no clue. And that's part of the fun and part of the life drain. But I digress. Let us open up into some of the old shiny Pokemon. And you can see here that not just the Shinings are here, but also we have the stars from the Gen 3. And in order to properly show, I have to zoom out a bit so that you can see this whole binder in its glory. So I'm going to pull out a few of these, but not all of them. And this isn't even all the ones we have. This is just the ones that I chose to pull out for this video. And let's jump right in. I'm going to pull out the Celebi right away. This Shining Celebi was pulled by my girlfriend back when the set came out, and she pulled it along with the Shining Charizard First Edition that I showed off a little bit earlier in this video. Very, very nice for her to hold on to these, and in such fantastic condition for all this time. I only pulled out this one and the Charizard First Edition to show you, but there are other First Editions of all of these guys. As you can tell, we have both Celebi Unlimited and Celebi First Edition, similar to the Charizard. These ones, since they have a different holo pattern on them, as you can tell, they don't have the typical, well, quote-unquote typical, they don't have the Pokemon-only reflection on them. They actually have a more normal Cosmos holo pattern in the background. You can actually definitely see that this Shining Gyarados is intended to be red. So that is a shiny Pokemon Gyarados. And also, fun fact about this and the Magikarp and all holos from Neo Revelation is that there's a chance that you get a double holo variant. So a little fun fact for this video that's otherwise about shiny Pokemon is that you can get a double holo variant for this Magikarp and the Gyarados. So the way you would be able to tell if it's a shiny, a double holo variant is this foreground Magikarp, which is very obviously gold, would actually be shiny as well. And the background Magikarps would be even harder to spot because it'd have 2 layers of shiny on them. Fun! Alright, so I just went over all these Neo Destiny Shinings, and I pulled out a few of our EX era, which is Gen 3, EX era Gold Star cards. So let's go over those now. I pulled out the Celebi Star. I quite like this card. Very, very nice. Very, very expensive these days. These stars are what most people are looking for if they're in the big leagues and they want to stay there. Similarly, this Mew, since it's a Delta species, it's water type instead of psychic. Love it. And we will do one of the grand reveals for this video by going to the next page. There we go. Grand reveal number 2, 3, 10, who knows? It depends on how you view the shinies. We have some more Gold Star shinies up here that I wanted to show off, and then some Shinings here. So in the Sun Moon era, we got Shining Mew, Shining Genesect, etc. And these were an attempt to recreate the Neo Destiny Shinings, like I was showing here. So there are 3 stars on the corner of each of those Neo Destiny ones, And if I recall, on this one, the star that they put on there is shiny. So instead of a triple shiny star or triple star, they put a shiny rarity star on these guys. But these are similar, where just the Pokemon is textured, and you can tell that the Genesect is very obviously shiny Genesect because it is red instead of purple. And when I was setting up this binder, I went from Shining into Radiant, but I actually do have a few more Shinings over here. So I will pull out the last Shining when we flip the page, but here's a Shining Ho-Oh promo, still sealed. Nice card. And then the other one here is a promo Shining Celebi. And luckily for us, we were around at the time, and so we pulled these ourselves from the boxes. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so those are Shining Pokemon, which are a callback to the original Shinings from Neo Destiny. Then we have Radiants, and these Radiants are majority from Sword Shield and Sword Shield promos. But instead of, or I should say, along with having the Pokemon be hollow with that special textured pattern, they also extended the textured pattern to the entire box of the card around the picture. And so you can get some really neat texture in there, and it's kind of a fun take on the otherwise now duplicated Shining trend with textured foil on the Pokemon itself. So that's very neat. And from Pokemon Go, we got all three of the starters, but as you saw in the other binder, that's where the Charizard Radiant is, so I didn't put it here. Now, just to give it, there's another Radiant Charizard. So, to give a little bit more of an idea about how the texture works on these, let's pull out this Alakazam, and we will remove it from its sleeve. And we can take a look at all of that texture down there. So you can see right around where it says Mind Ruler and basically everywhere on the card, it's like this kind of snowy texture. Then down here on the border, you can see that it's got like a wavy texture to it. And then even in the background of the art, even though it's not technically hollow, it's still textured. So you could argue that it is hollow, but it's just obviously significantly less hollow than the Pokemon itself. And on the Pokemon, including the spoons, etc. in this case, is where they draw the texture to the Pokemon rather than to the background. Very cool. I really like the look of these Radiants. And as I've said in other videos, if you want to collect a subset of cards, these Radiants and Shinings are very affordable. A master set of all of these Shinings, not the Neo Destiny ones, and the Radiants is probably going to run you less than $200 to $300. So if you want a very cool, obviously very cool, entry point into a subset of shiny Pokemon, that is a great place to start. Of course, all the baby shinies I showed you from the other three sets are also very affordable for the most part, and so those can be good things to go for as well. Bonus, if you're going to card shows, many vendors have many baby shinies all over the place. So if you go through their binders, they're almost certainly going to have a baby shiny section, and they're probably going to have 20 to 30 of them in there. So if you need to round out a current collection, or you want to start fresh and go for something, you can find them there. All right, so let's flip the page and do another grand reveal of shiny Pokemon in history. This one is actually going back in time from where I was just talking about. So Sun Moon and Sword Shield are relatively new generations. Sun Moon is Gen 7, and Sword Shield is Generation 8. Scarlet Violet is Generation 9, but we're going to go all the way back to Gen 4. So these are the Platinum and Heart Gold Soul Silver era of cards. Very cool. Let's pull these guys out. One quick note is that this is the extra Shining Pokemon that I had mentioned was Sun Moon, and I hadn't pulled out yet. Shining Lugia. Beautiful. Okay, so these three here, the legendary dogs, are from promos back in Heart Gold Soul Silver era. Ours are in varying quality, but that is okay. You can tell. Entei shiny. And they gave him a Cosmos Hollow pattern, and then they gave him the hollow border similar to the EXs of Gen 3. Neat. This Ho-Oh is one of, I think, 12 Shining Legends cards from Call of Legends. And I say Shining Legends, it could also be Shiny Legendary. I don't know exactly what it is, but if you look at the bottom of the card, SL5. So there's a subset within Call of Legends where you have the legendary Pokemon, but shiny. And so I only pulled out one, but there are quite a few, and very obviously the Ho-Oh is shiny. All right, and then I don't need to pull these guys out. If you want a better history about the baby shinies here, the reverse shinies from Diamond and Pearl era, you can go check out my master set of Stormfront exactly 1 week ago, where I also pulled out all 12 of these baby shinies to show off in that video. But essentially, these ones would replace the reverse holo in your pack and then give you a shiny version of one of these Pokemon. Very neat. This Vulpix is the most sought after as far as I know. This Ponyta is the second most. And who likes Relicanth? Honest question. No, just kidding. I like Relicanth, but you know, it's Relicanth. Next up, in the Heart Gold Soul Silver base, we got this secret rare. I guess not secret rare technically. It's 123 out of 123. Shiny Red Gyarados. And this appeared after all of the Legend halves. It appeared after all the Primes. And appeared after the Elf Lithograph and everything. So this is literally the last card in those sets. And we got a Shiny Gyarados. Nice, nice. But couldn't just leave it at that. They also gave us a reverse holo of that Shiny Gyarados. Neat. Okay, so now we're into the promos. And these are getting closer to modern. So these are now XY promos. This one's a black and white promo of Genesect here. But in these promos, they have a lot of relatively random featuring of shiny cards, shiny Pokemon. So I'll pull some attention to this Mega Metagross back in XY base, XY promos. When they were making Megas, they decided to make this one shiny for some reason. I don't know, but I like it. Very cool. And here is the shiny Metagross to go with it in order to get you into Mega Metagross EX. We got Bacon Bird and Princess Mononoke here in shiny as well. We'll do another grand reveal. We have a few more XY promos up here with some Gyarados, shiny Magikarp, shiny Rayquaza, shiny Mega Gengar. But then you'll see that we have a new style. These ones have gold borders, these ones have yellow borders, but these are the Gen 5 shiny cards. So I'll only pull out a few because I got some interesting stories to tell about them. But here is the general gist of those Gen 5 shinings. At the end of the set, Secret Rares. This is 100 out of 99. And then you've got a big textured symbol of the type of the Pokemon there. You got the shiny Pokemon up here, and then you got a lot of glorious texture there in the picture. So this is like a big hit a big hit from the set. Very nice. Something that's interesting about these, though, is on some of them, you get texture errors. And these are from the printer. You can see that the corner ends perfectly there, which is where the corner of the box is. And so that really nice deep texture that we're seeing on the cards there actually got pushed through to the back. And this didn't just happen to the shiny cards, it happened to some of the full arts of that time as well. But it was a relatively common issue. Not super common, but relatively common. And I think it's a very cool touch. So I pulled it out of the sleeve so you can see a little bit better the texture on these guys. And then I wanted to show you up close and personal these texture errors. Love it. Very cool. Adds a lot of character to the card, in my opinion. So we'll feed that guy nicely back in. And as you can see, I pulled out a selection of the shinings from Black White era. But I wanted to draw attention to this Execute as well, because this Propagation Execute was so good at the time. This card was extremely playable because once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put it back into your hand. So if you're playing Ultra Ball, you have an infinite discard that you can use once a turn for the rest of the game. You don't need to get rid of the stuff you like. Sometimes you want to get rid of the other stuff, and so you can. But other times you can just grab the Execute back into your hand and throw that away. Very fun card to play at the time. Alright, now we're into XY again. These are Ancient Origins. These are Primal Kyogre, Groudon, and Rayquaza. And these are the big boy secret rares at the end of the set. Let's pull out the Rayquaza, because everyone seems to be clamoring for this guy these days. Absolutely beautiful. Similar to the other Megas, you get the Japanese text that is either the exact or similar to the attack name, and then you get the Shining Rayquaza there in the background. Absolutely love these cards. These were featured in the very first Master Set Monday I did, way back when. The first one was Ancient Origins. Alright, so now, still in XY, we're going to get into Breakpoint here. You can see Shiny Gyarados Half Art, another grand reveal, yet more shinies. We have more Breakpoint stuff. If you're interested in the Breakpoints, I just did a Master Set of Breakpoint 2 weeks ago. So go check out that video. I think you'll enjoy it. We have one card here from Generations. which features both a shiny and non-shiny Mega Gardevoir. Very cool. And then we go into Steam Siege, which is interesting, because not only did we get some shinies of some Megas down here, I know they're a little off-screen, but, you know, that's just kind of the nature of a giant spread binder, but also we got a bunch of Pokemon with 2 types, and these were actually shiny variants of the Pokemon. And so with Shiftry, it's kind of hard to tell, you know, unless you're looking at normal Shiftry side by side. Volcarona here, a little bit easier to tell if you remember that Volcarona normally has red wings. Now you can see that it has yellow wings here, which is its shiny form, but it gets to be very obvious when you get to the Azumarill and Bisharp, where Azumarill's generally blue, and they put shiny Azumarill on there. Okay, so there's some XY goodies. Here's some Sun Moon goodies. We had a few promos that came out with shiny versions of cards that came out of sets. So shiny Silvally here. And then in here, you can see that this is the white instead of black Zygarde. All right. Next type of shinies, Sword Shield Secret Rares. These ones are surprisingly affordable as well, and I think these cards look amazing. So, another good subset to get into, shiny gold Pokemon from Sword Shield era. Let me pull out this Houndoom. It's a great example. The blue is very obvious that it's a shiny version of Houndoom rather than the black, and you get all of this really cool texture and shine on it. Absolutely wonderful, and these cards are relatively cheap, all things considered. So, another great subset to be looking for. How they chose which Pokemon to do, I don't know. Some of them are playable. Some of them are just cool. Who knows? But some very neat stuff there. Alright, another grand reveal. You can see the remainder of the gold shinies that I pulled out, including the stamped Mew with the blue Mew. And then we get into these silver full art shinies. And again, didn't pull them all out, but here's a decent selection. And these were some of them from sets. Some of them, actually, yeah, some sets, some promos. But as you can see here, we got the shiny Pokemon featured on a silver card instead of a gold card. These ones are also nice and affordable. This Cramorant is probably the most obvious out of these, maybe the Crobat as well. But Cramorant is normally blue. Now he's orange. Neat. The 3 starters, they came along with their own baby shinies similar to that, and I will get into those in a moment. These ones are the Celebrations Pokemon, and I will pull out the Umbreon Star, because of course it's a fan favorite. This is a reprint of a card from Pop 5, as you can tell down there. It's got the Pop 5 symbol. This card from Pop 5, not from this set, goes for a staggering like $12,000 when graded well. So it's insane. If you want a PSA 10 of this one, way more affordable. So, highly consider picking up that if you're an Umbreon fan. We got a reprint of Shining Magikarp, like I showed you from earlier. Still got the Neo Revelation symbol and everything, but it has the Pikachu head stamp for the 25th anniversary and some unique texture. And why is this Litten illustration rare here? Well, let me tell you. This isn't a shiny Litten by any stretch, but it has a cameo of a shiny Litten right there on the book. It's white with the red face, rather than the typical black with the red face. So I thought that'd be a fun little treat to show you. It's not officially a shiny Pokemon card, but it features a shiny Pokemon on it. And there are quite a few Japanese promos that feature shiny Pokemon on them, such as the Mega Rayquaza Poncho and the Hoopa, which has a shiny Rayquaza in the background. So, if you're looking for non-English shinies, there are definitely some out there for you. Alright, back to baby shinies. Back to where we started. We got the Fido here. And the last of the flips, we got the last few of the baby shinies. So, like I said before, these guys came with their starter final evolutions here. But we've got Sprigatito Florgato, Fuecoco Crocolore, Quaxly Quaxwell, and then some random dog-type shinies that they made. So we got Grievard, Mastiff, and then down here we got Fido, shiny, baby shiny. All right, so that is a brief history of shinies in the Pokemon TCG. This page is glorious. I could stare at this forever. However, these cards must be disseminated back into their sets where they belong. So, for now, we will close this out and we'll actually get back to the original point of this video, which was our wonderful Shining Fates. So, let me get Shining Fates in there. Let me open it up to where we left off, which was near the end of the baby Shinies. Sorry, the end of just all the Shinies. We'll do a quick flip through here. I'll center it a little bit better on the camera. There's that Charizard again, looking amazing. Just a quick cameo for that, because it's such a long video. And then the reverses. It would not be a master set without the reverses, and boy howdy did we not skip them. So if you stayed to the end to actually finish the Shining Fates that was in the title of this video, I commend you, I applaud you, you deserve a pat on the back, a handshake, a high five, whatever kind of friendly greeting I could provide. So let's quickly go through the reverses of this otherwise gargantuan video. Ooh. Compared to Mewstar, it's hard to really hype these guys up, you know? When we just show a page full of Shinings and Mewstars and stuff, it's hard to make these like super appealing. But as I always say, pay attention to your commons and uncommons, and even your rares, non-holo rares included, because you get some fantastic art. Like, did you know Morpeko on this card has a Shuckle in the background there. And on the left side, it's not a Tranquil. This one is the evolution of Pick-a-Peck. I don't remember what it is. It might be Trumbeak. Very cool. Very cool. And then on this Morpeko card, if you were just blasting through all your commons, never looking at them, you would miss that there's a Rookidee and an angry Snubble back there, along with this Morpeko. So pay attention to your commons and uncommons in your bulk. There's a ton of amazing art there. All right, one last turn, and we're at the end. We have finally made it to the end of Shining Fates Master Set. So I will flip back here and show you one quick fun thing. This Alchemy is card number 73 in the main set. The way we set up our binders is just by numbering card by card, and since 72 is divisible by 9 and it's divisible by 18, that means that we have to spend an entire page, 17 energies, and 1 Alchemy VMAX to finish off that set. So we got basically an entire filler page in this binder just because of that one $4 Alchemy VMAX. Sick. Okay, so this video was huge. And again, if you made it this far, amazing. Thank you very much for watching. Your watch time means so much to me. What of the Shinies from all of the generations do you like best? Do you collect any of them? Do you have a favorite Pokemon that hasn't got a Shiny yet? I don't know if there are any Pokemon that haven't got a Shiny card yet with 3 entire baby Shiny pages. Who knows? 3 entire baby Shiny vaults of 120 cards. Either way, thank you so much for watching. If you have another Master Set or Wishlist Wednesday you'd like to recommend, throw it in the comments below. Plus, I've already made, I think, 32 videos at this point showcasing other sets. So you can go check those out as well if you want to see more of our master collection of every single English card in existence. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.